Before we dive into today's episode, we've got a quick favor to ask. If you're enjoying the Shrimp City Report, make sure you're following us on all of our social channels so you never miss an update. And while you're at it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps us grow, and it keeps the show moving forward. Got something to say, a story to tell, or maybe you just want to join us as a guest on the podcast? We'd love to hear from you. Shoot us an email and let's make it happen. Thanks for supporting the Shrimp City Report. Now let's get into the show. Hey everybody, welcome to the Shrimp City Report, Charleston's finest podcast on entertainment, leisure, and living. And we count eating in restaurants and restaurateuring, all three, right?
Yeah, I mean, Charleston's one of the biggest culinary cities in the state, right?
It is. And join with DJ. And of course, speaking of culinary cities, we have a person that has audacity to open another restaurant in Charleston. And that's Dave Lorenz. Am I pronouncing that last name correctly?
You are.
Okay, right on.
Thanks.
So Dave, we've been trying to chase you down since Lulu's Tavern on the tracks was slated to be in the Refinery because, as our listeners know, the Refinery is one of our sponsors and we record the lion's shares of our shows here. So how long are we waiting to see what was going to go in that space?
Oh, yeah. Just like speculating and everything.
Yeah.
Though we did get a little bit of a sneak peek about 2 weeks ago. We went and had some drinks and a snack,
Yes, we did. We snuck in for cocktails. We got to get cocktails whenever something's new.
Nice.
So.
Yes.
Do y'all have any bets on who is going to be coming? Is there a pool?
Oh my
betting
God.
pool going on?
There was crazy
be?
speculation. We live in Park Circle, so there was a lot of speculation there. And my soccer supporters club for West Ham United was wondering if somebody's going to be there that we could watch soccer games.
Yeah. We had soccer on today. That was good.
Right on.
Yeah.
Well, Dave, you're kind of a fixture in the community. We'll talk, or at least the Low Country. We'll talk about some of your other restaurants. Tell us about yourself first.
Sure. So I got to Charleston back in 98 with my soon-to-be wife, Chrissy. Mm-hmm. We ended up getting married down here in 2000, which makes it always awesome for me to know how many years I've been married because whatever year it is, minus 2000.
Yeah, the millennium.
I kind of wow people. I'm like, oh, we've been married 26 years. Wow, that was quick. How did you think of that? Married in 2000. But so she's from a restaurant background as well. Okay. And so my early days here worked with a local group, Sticky Fingers Rib House.
Sure.
Everybody, if you've been here a while, people are very familiar with them.
Prominent.
Yes, I think everyone's heard of them.
Prominent and kick-ass sauces.
Yeah. So, I was there. I think there was 4 or 5 of them when I started and helped them grow it to 24. In the meantime, we did sell it to an equity firm, and that probably was the demise, and that's why there are no more Sticky Fingers.
Yeah, come to think of
it. They've since closed them, but that was kind of where I cut my teeth on restaurants. Again, my wife was in the business, so before we had got here, she ran some restaurants in Raleigh, Chapel Hill, and had thrown me to the wolves a few times for catering and line cooking and things like that.
Right.
So I learned a lot back then. So we got here in 2000 and I've never looked back. I mean, it's a great food town. It's a great people town. I love the beach. We live out on Isle of Palm. So, it's just a wonderful city to raise kids. We've got 2 kids. One's 20 and one's 19. And so they've born and raised, they can say they're born and raised in the Low Country.
Are they also getting into the food business, or they're like,
no.
I've had
they've seen the horror.
Yeah.
No, one is in finance. And the one is wanting to get into film and music and things like that. He's out in LA. So
wow. Awesome.
Yeah, I did food service for about 10 years and ran back to college.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm getting my degree, man. Because it is tough. And both of y'all came from that she came from that background, got you set. So what were you doing before then? Where are you from?
So originally I'm from outside of D.C., Bethesda, Maryland, which is pretty funny. We just ran into Mrs. Hall's and I found out that we went to the same high school.
Oh, really?
Which is really crazy. Walter Johnson in Bethesda, Maryland, which is crazy. But was there, then went to school over at Tennessee, Go Vols. And then we lived over in Chapel Hill for a while. And it was actually in the clothing business.
Oh,
so
yeah?
I had a company called Deep Blue. We did like scuba t-shirts and hats and surf wear.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool industry. Very hard also because you need big inventories and money to do that. And, I was 24, 25 years old and was just hawking t-shirts basically until I got into the food service industry here in Charleston.
Okay.
That sounds like the path of every deadhead I knew in the 80s, selling t-shirts in parking lots and then working in restaurants.
I still have some bootleg shirts that my son wears that I had bootlegged, Beavis and Butthead, Grateful Dead.
Yeah,
all those.
I don't want to get off on a tangent, but parking lot shirts were the best.
Yep.
And I still have a few myself,
Yep. So we had a great one. It was Beat Duke, and it was DOOK.
Right.
And we sold them like hotcakes after the UNC Duke games in Chapel Hill.
Yeah, my family I have several that went to Carolina and North Carolina, which is proper Carolina. Everybody knows that I will make that distinction because half my family's from there, but we went Clemson. He went to East Tennessee State, but
I did.
ETSU. I went there,
yeah.
I looked there as well, and I got into Knoxville and ended up going to Knoxville, but I was looking at ETSU.
Oh, yeah, John Cine, love it.
Yeah, cool area.
Beautiful place, yeah, and that's... Well, God, we're getting totally off track with every place we've been. Tell me about Aruba. No,
yeah, we honeymoon there.
No way. Matter of fact, damn, this is awesome. It's like Kismet. So, what'd you learn in Tennessee?
I was a poli-sci major. It was I could write a paper in a night, and C's got degrees back then, and it's got my degree, and was doing t-shirts in college, and so I met a guy in Chapel Hill that did all my printing, and so when I got out, he was like, "Why don't you come work for us?" And we sold t-shirts to legal t-shirts to my territory was Duke, he was Chapel Hill, and the other guy was NC State. And we did a lot of that. We did Blue Cross Blue Shield, Red Hat, all these, the triangle area was popping, and we were doing all kinds of other stuff too. But really that's where my first job was really in t-shirts and hats, which I still, if you've been to our other restaurants, we do a lot of t-shirts.
Yeah, and I see a lot of the branding, especially with the Mex One stuff. And y'all do the
rail jam.
The snowboarding rail jam. We talked to the Firefly folks right before that. Yeah. So we can go off on that as well. But so I guess you were hitting the ground running. You weren't idle. You were learning business.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The whole time. Yeah.
It's kind of a serial entrepreneur. I think, my mom's always said you could probably do anything. And, it's as long as there's strong branding and, I like working good people. Again, a solid brand, something you can believe in, something that's like cool, something fun to do, it could probably do anything.
Back to getting into like the Charleston food, like in 2000, a lot different nowadays.
A lot different.
I mean, how did you tackle that?
Back then, it was, Sticky Fingers, T-Bones, Gilligan's was big. Like those were the kind of multi-unit brands.
Right.
Home Team really hadn't started back then. I forget when they'd started, a little bit later than that. But, so we were kind of that first realm of multi-unit restaurant.
Right.
And I think it was easier back then. Our thing, even when we had like 6 of them and somebody would be like, "Oh, they're pretty good for a chain." We were like, "No, we're not a chain." No, that's crazy. We're all just because the guys, that owned it were a few years older than me. They had gone to school in Chattanooga. And they were just, we were all just hustling.
Yeah.
Just hustling to make it happen and hard work, grind, having fun and all that kind of stuff. And that was just kind of the industry. And a lot's changed, and we'll get into that. But it's changed a lot, some good, some bad. And
it is interesting because similar to what you're saying, I don't further, I guess, for lack of a better term, mini chains or local chains. You don't see that much anymore.
No. Well, especially Charleston, you don't at all. And
right.
I think, you've got the Home Team guys do a great job.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of, obviously Indigo Road has done a great job of being kind of, but they've got different brands.
Right.
Charleston caters, I think, to a local, and even if it is a brand or a chain of, 5, 7, whatever, it's still a smaller, Swig and Swine's another good example. Great local guy.
Yeah.
But you don't think of him as this big chain kind of thing going on.
No.
And chains struggle here, in a lot of parts of Charleston. Some do well, but it is a struggle. I think Charleston likes the the independent,
the authenticity.
Yeah. Knowing that the person that's, owning that also goes to your kid's school and is at t-ball practice. I used to coach my kids t-ball and baseball.
To that matter, knowing that he might be sitting on the patio or dining, in with y'all.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I think Aaron from Home Team just came a few weeks ago. He's doing something here and he popped in. Hey, man, how you doing? I just want to check the place out. Yeah. And that's what's so unique about Charleston, too.
Yeah, that is cool, that kind of community. And we've heard that from a lot of chefs. And there's a lot of room, even though there's a million restaurants here. I don't say that with disrespect, but there's still distinction amongst a bunch of them. And there's, I think, a camaraderie.
There's a big time. I think that's, our current chef at Lulu's came from Nashville and Patrick Murphy. And he really, that was what he was yearning and craving, was more of a camaraderie with the scene. And he's only, been here a month or so, and he's already seeing like, wow, all the other restaurants are very supportive. And, we all compete, but we're also very supportive of each other.
Charleston also has this, I guess it's an organism or almost an incestuous people that work in food service in Charleston. You're never going to meet someone that works in food service that has only worked at one restaurant.
Yeah, right.
Especially front of the house people.
Right.
And they weave this community even more. You know, I always find that pretty interesting.
Oh, I think it's cool. You get the different takes of it and stuff like that. You get, you hear a lot of stories from other restaurants through your staff.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I thought they had their stuff together. Oh, they don't? Oh, good. It's not just me.
Yeah. Well, that is pretty good. And it can help your psyche sometimes, to not think you're out on an island per se.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody. Devin here from the Shrimp City Report. We want to encourage you to check out the Refinery in Charleston, South Carolina. The Refinery is a beautiful mixed-use facility featuring upscale office spaces, 2 incredible restaurants, the Limbo Lounge, and an amphitheater that hosts national, regional, and local acts all year long. We really can't recommend it enough. Visit refinerychs.com for event details, venue information, and learn more about everything the Refinery has to offer. You can also book spaces for your own events directly through their website, so go check them out. And thanks for supporting local.
Absolutely.
So speaking about like the restaurants that have conglomerations or the not conglomerations, what is it like, the snob people and
the groups.
The groups. Would you consider, is Mex 1, Islander 71, is that a group, or how does that stack up in that measure?
Yeah, I mean, small group.
Okay.
We have 4 restaurants. Lulu's is, our newest and interesting because it's a little more elevated than we've done, chef driven. We like that kind of thought, where Mex is, Baja Beach Bar, kind of fun, and Islander has both. It's got an indoor area, inside area that's, a little more elevated. Outside areas, you're getting off the boat, having a good time, all those kind of things. So the Lulu's is kind of the first of the, elevated dining, elevated service, but still casual and fun. We're always going to have some casual element to it. But, we weave that through all the restaurants, that at the end of the day, it's a restaurant. It should be fun. It's when you go out, you should want to have an escape. You want to go forget about your job. You want to go forget about, what the political race is going on. Just go have fun. Go watch a soccer game.
Yeah.
Have some drinks. Have some food, watch a football game, whatever it is. Watch surfing on. That's one of our best things at Max One. I have friends that will go, I just go to your place in West Ashley and sit and watch surf videos on my lunch break. And it's so calming.
That is awesome. I mean, they're intoxicating to watch anyway.
So, that's what restaurants should be, in my opinion, are, it's escape from the everyday, and just you get away for a little bit, you have a little fun, you have some drinks and some good food, and you forget about taxes and and problems and work and all that.
That's the truth. It really is. And I guess so. You do have the casual places.
Have you been wanting to get into fine dining for a while, or have you had experience with that before?
No, I mean, in Lulu's, I wouldn't put in a fine dining. I think the food is there.
Yeah.
Again, with some casual elements to it and some fun. that's where the small plates come in. It makes it reasonably priced, lower. You're not serving $72 steaks and things like that. And it can be casual because it's the way that Lulu's is situated with the small plates and stuff's just coming out and it's shareable and all that kind of stuff makes it more relaxed and not so formal. But the food it's amazing. I mean, we have Chef Patrick and Chef Alex, and they're just killing it. We just did a tasting today for our new brunch menu that's coming out.
Oh, cool. God. I didn't see that on the website yet.
It's coming. It's coming.
Wow, that sounds like a great thing to watch English Premier League soccer.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
When on Sundays.
Yes. What time does that start?
Oh my God, games can start as early as 7:30 a.m.
Okay.
And then predominantly they're 10, 11, 12.
Oh, perfect. That would be perfect time for it.
So with that being said, let's just go ahead and pivot over to Lulu's. What possessed you to do that? And the biggest question, and we've already discussed this, why the Refinery and the neck area?
Yeah, well, I think this is a really unique area, and we're sitting in a vintage remodeled rail car. I mean, how cool is that? It's sitting right on the tracks, and part of the name, So first of all, let me go back. The name Lulu's comes from Aunt Lou, which is my wife's sister, and Big Lou, which was our old hound dog. So it's Aunt Lou and Big Lou, and that creates Lulu's. And then Tavern on the Tracks was kind of a play on it's kind of like divey down on the tracks, but it's elevated food, which is always, I love that, where you go and you're like, wait, this is nice food. This is
they actually have cloth napkins.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of a play on that. But this area is just super cool. I mean, there's a couple, it just sits right on the Standard Oil, which is right behind us. And there's working rail cars that go back and forth. We've met some of the guys driving them, and they'll honk the train horns for us and everything when we run outside and see them going by. And then this amphitheater is amazing. There's plenty of parking, which is unique. But I think that's what this neck area has brought is, development of cool office space, apartments, all this. And then Refinery has some really nice parking, which makes it, nice. You're downtown, but boom, you can slide in and there's parking. And then you're sitting on the patio, you're looking at rail cars, the sun's setting. It's just really magical, and it's hidden a little bit. And I think that's one thing that, it's a hidden gem. And this area, it's like a lot of people that come back here, if they haven't been to a concert and they just come around, they're like, whoa. Where am I? This is cool. Like I've never been here. Or they've been to a concert and it's been loud and music and pumping, and that's one element. But then when you come when there's nothing and it's just the amphitheater quiet and the trains in the background and everything, it's a totally different experience, which is really cool. So that was what drew it to us.
With the scenery, I guess, or with the setting, did you have an idea for the restaurant in mind as far as like staff, style, anything like that?
Well, the style is small shareable plates, and that comes from the way that our family eats.
Okay.
We are a shareable, and even a funny story all the way back to, I think restaurant people eat this way. We want to try as many things on the menu as we can, and we want to share it. So funny story is, we were down in Costa Rica on a Mex One Warrior Surf Foundation surf trip this last February, and my daughter brought her boyfriend. And so we're all ordering, and he's like getting the same thing as my daughter, my son. Somebody's no, you got to get something else. He's like, no, get something else. It's like, we'll all share it. Don't worry about it. We all want to get something. And so that's kind of where the shareables, so it's cost effective. You're not buying $52 steaks, but you're getting, a really good hanger steak. It might be like 3-4 ounces. You're getting a taste of that. You're going to get some fries. You're going to get some bao buns. You're going to and you just kind of try everything. And it's very communal, very sharing. And that's just kind of the way that we like to eat. I think it's a fun way to eat, as an experience. Yeah,
I think there's also a trend with eating where people are starting to eat smaller, especially with the Ozempic and that kind of culture that are a little more conscious about, they're not going to get, God bless, love the hell out of Lewis's, but there's not a lot of people that are still getting giant trays of food.
Yeah.
So they're very conscious about that.
I mean, even before, like, especially like 5-6 years ago is when like the whole tapas thing kind of exploded, you know?
Yeah,
A lot
it really
of people
came back,
doing the
didn't it?
small plates.
It's such a neat way to eat. You know, it's done, like you said, tapas, Mediterranean's done it.
You want to try
Asian,
everything.
there's some places that'll do it. This is kind of unique because it is kind of new American, you know, somewhat Southern comfort food, somewhat plays on twists on things, and
such a
and
good
just
idea.
a fun kind of way to eat. And it's just, you know, again, it goes back to what I was saying, an experience. So you're having an experience, you're sharing with people. Oh, you know, I always say sometimes you go out with this kind of eating and you're like, I wouldn't have ordered that. You know, grilled carrots, fire grilled carrots. Oh, I'm not going to order that. And then I try some, I'm like, that's really good. Maybe the next time I come back, I'll get some of those. Like,
yeah, and it is a very diverse. I was going to get into the small plates later, but it is very diverse with the carpaccio and the tempura maritakis and things like that. So there is a wide variety. And I was looking at my paper menu that I printed off, so I would have some notes, and I was like, if I had a pen, I would just start mapping out how I would compare them.
It's also what's unique is it's always different. Every time you're going to go, you're going to probably get something different. So it's like if you go to a traditional restaurant, and you're just like, I'm going to get the steak and mashed potatoes. I'm going to get the fish and those grits. I'm going to get This is more like, hey, I'm going to go, and then this time I'm getting the carrots, the broccolini, and then the bao buns. And next time I'm getting the carpaccio. I'm going to get the short rib, and it's a totally different experience. Or I love the short rib, so I'm always going to get that. But then I'm going to switch up the other things I'm going to get, and that's what I think makes it fun and exploration and, you know, fun dining. Is you're always, I mean, every time we eat there, I always am on the way home going, oh man, I forgot to get that. I forgot to get that. You know.
So who are the folks running the kitchen, and how long did it take y'all to come up with the opening menu?
So kind of a fun process. You know, we have Chef Patrick and Chef Alex.
Okay.
One, I was telling you, came from Nashville. He was executive chef at Jelly Roll's place, which was huge.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Nice resume.
Yeah. And then Chef Alex came from a very prominently known group, Indigo Road here, just ran some places. So a lot of super good talent. And they're very yin-yang. You know, she's unbelievable at like baking and desserts and all this, and Chef Patrick can do some really good center of the plate stuff and range, and so there's a yin yang that happens with both of them that creates amazing food, and so, you know, that was new for us because we've not been chef driven, so the process was, you know, teaching a little bit. We eat out a lot, and we do have lived in Charleston a long time, so we did have to help guide a little bit on, you know. What I think is interesting about Charleston cuisine is it's still Southern. We're still in South Carolina.
Yeah, for sure.
So, like, there's a lot of plays on Southern food, like King Barbecue, right? Really cool place, all that. But it's a play on Asian and barbecue, and there's those hybrids, and it makes it unique in that sense.
Oh yeah, we go every week.
Yeah, I mean, but it's really cool. So during the menu development, I was like, that's kind of like, sometimes you don't want to get too out there because Charleston still likes that. At the end of the day, they like a biscuit.
You throw some grits on a
you
menu,
like some grits, you know, Martian grits. So we try to. That was unique, especially to guide in that direction of like, hey, get out there and make it unique and make it fun, and but also remember we still are in South Carolina, and we love our grits, and we love Southern cooking and butter, fat, and stuff.
But that, actually, how you explain that, I mean, I bet y'all were giddy to be, you know, like, oh wow, we're going to do this, you know, that, how about this idea and this idea, and just those sessions when y'all are banging around all the ideas. I'm sure that was pretty rad.
The lobster bao bun is one of the things that's really cool. So we make the bao bun in house.
No way.
And it's grilled, so it's like a lobster roll, but you're using a bao bun, and who doesn't love a bao bun? Because
I know.
It's sweeter. and then it's grilled and
much easier to eat. And
my God, it's a little bite. So that's like, those are that little plays that we did that were, unique. And even the short rib, and I'll butcher it. It's like gochujang, I think is the term. But then the spin is like some Carolina barbecue element in it with the gochujang. So it's kind of got like a southern barbecue, but it's got the heat from the gochujang. And it's like, it's kind of neat where it's just, again, food should be fun. And that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. Did
you have, again, kind of similar to the carrot moment, a moment where the chefs brought an item to you and your southernness kind of withdrawed for a moment, but you actually liked it? Like it was like anything that surprised you?
Yes and no. Yes, sometimes I was like, what is that?
Yeah.
Like, what is that word?
Yeah.
And I was like, it's that. And they're very talented chefs. So they're using real terms. And, I'm under the table Googling, what is it's a noodle.
Can you repeat that?
It's something that you're like, oh, okay, all right. So, conform, I think, and this goes back to everything we do, Max and even Honor, it's got to be approachable.
Yeah.
So sometimes like you can't go too far where the customer in Charleston, this is my opinion, is like, wait, what are we eating here?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's a noodle. or something. So there was some times that way, but then there was also some things that really impressed me, which were the mushrooms, and I'll butcher the name of them. Yeah. And I was like, what is that?
Mushroom? Fried mushrooms?
Yeah, but it's a maitake.
The maitake.
Yeah. And I was like, what? That's, and then I was like, whoa, that's amazing. Like, that's really good. Yeah. So that was kind of the back and forth. I think they pushed the envelope on some things that I was like, well, why don't we just do, portobello, fried portobello?
Right.
And you're like, no, do this. And I was like, oh, wait, you're right. No, that's really good.
But yeah, I like that idea because, on the other side of this menu, you have duck truffle fries.
Yeah.
So there's some familiar and there's some other, and I guess we could probably talk forever about the psychology that goes behind explaining a menu to somebody.
Yeah. Well, a good one is the deviled eggs. So, right, they're deviled eggs, but we soak them in beet juice, so they're purple.
Beautiful.
And then they have a fried saltine on them too, on the top. But it's just cool. Like we saw it somewhere and I was like, man, that's cool. And they're like, oh yeah, it's just soaked in beet juice.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really change the flavor, but it makes it like when it comes out, it's like, wow, look at these cool purple eggs.
Yeah.
But it tastes like a Southern deviled egg.
Yeah, that is bougie Southern, like, your 4th of July picnic was catered by Martha Stewart or somebody. I love that idea. Plus I'm a mega Beets fan. So.
Oh God, you got to try the Beets that we have.
Okay,
I no, not yet.
Oh God.
So,
really
but again, a second part of this menu, got to talk about the drinks because last time we were here, we had some and they were amazing.
Yeah. The cocktail menu is very strong. We're again having fun with some things.
Yeah.
And then we do have some wines on tap that are really interesting. We have some keg cocktails, which are really interesting. We took over a space, so we inherited a large, keg system.
Yeah.
And even not on our resume here is the Bohemian Bull, which we owned for about 5 to 7 years. I forget.
Oh, really?
Owned it. Yeah, the one out on Folly.
Yeah, that place is juggernaut, man.
Yeah, it's great. We ended up selling it to our general manager, which is great. He still owns it. His name's Chad. And fantastic.
A friend of mine has a recording studio right behind there.
Yeah. So. And so, so we had 32 beers on tap.
Yeah.
And that was a lot. And I've kind of got, a little like, oh my God, like that's a lot to deal with. So when I saw this place and we had, I think 20, I was like, can we do something besides just a bunch of tap beer? Because you have to have all these kegs and you got all this kind of stuff. And now a lot of local breweries do cans anyways, which are fantastic. So, we still carry a lot of the local stuff, but and we still have it on tap, but kegged wine is really interesting because it's the same process. Like beer, it's carbonated, so it stays fresh. So if you go to a restaurant, it's a wine by the glass, they're popping in and you can carbonate it and all this kind of stuff.
Right.
Keep it fresh. But, sometimes it's not as fresh, where kegged wine is basically fresh every time because it's under CO2. And then we do the same with the keg cocktails, which is really fun. So that's, I think, from the bar side,
Mhm.
that's just like the chefs are doing. That's, we'll probably rotate a lot of that.
Yeah, I
new
was wondering about
wines,
that.
new keg cocktails, have fun with it, come up with different like unique things.
Yeah.
So.
I like the idea of keg cocktails. Number one, I'm sure it's a humongous playground with your beverage people,
Yeah.
to be able to put something out there. Plus, I think a lot of people miss, DJ, that the quality control.
Oh, yeah.
They're, at the end of the day, you're getting the same, whatever, gin concoction
Yeah.
all the time and the perfect ratio. So
That you just nailed it, because that is, and it's funny because when we go to our restaurants, and the bartenders, oh no, Dave's here, Chrissy's here. Here's a little extra Dave
heavy,
pour, and
yeah.
I go, I just want a normal cocktail because it needs to be balanced.
Right.
And so keg cocktails are very balanced, and so if you heavy pour or heavy mixer or whatever, it throws it off. So when you have the keg cocktails, it's, to your point, balanced every time and it's consistent. And that's a lot of times when you go out, you want, if you've had this and you're like, oh, this is great, that's what I want this time. If you want the double tequila soda, then you order the double tequila soda, which
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think to your point, and also you come up with the perfect recipe. And from my time in food service, even at back of house, you come up with the perfect recipe. You're going to have people that are working that line 9 months later that are like, well, I guess I'm not going to exactly hit that ratio. I'm going to eyeball everything. And then somehow it just gets bastardized out.
And it's not.
Yeah.
So, so quality control or control, I know you don't want to be or none of you want to be dictators over your shops, but
well, you want consistency, and that's where it comes
right.
from.
And that's those are
a good, consistent cocktail. It's just your favorite, and you're like, oh, I like that. That goes down the way I like it. It's consistent.
And those are simple things. Hell, you learned some business along the way. Political science, so you know how everything is structured and how it's supposed to be going.
Yeah, right.
Look how great it's going. For the past 20 years.
Yeah.
So, by the way, my wife is a pretty decently well-known Charleston fine artist, painter.
Oh, nice.
And made a nice career out of it. But when we were in college, she was a political science major herself.
Yeah. It's a good place.
Yep.
So one thing, I'll throw this in, I don't know if it's on our list, we are doing kind of an art wall since your wife is...
Oh, right on.
Oh, really?
And it's unique. We've got 3 artists so far that are consigning some art on the wall. We're going to add some, and we're going to have them all in and kind of have a opening and show and stuff like that. It was just one of the things going back a little bit to the Refinery in this place. It's, art, music, and food are so creative, right? And so we wanted to kind of show that. And my father was a really good artist. I got some genetic, so I've done some painting. Our kids have it.
Oh, right on.
And so we've always appreciated the arts, and especially the local scene, and have known some local artists and the Redux, and there's all these cool little locals. So we wanted to go kind of hyper local and also make art approachable, where things are not $3,000 or $300.
Yeah.
And you could buy a cool painting and put it in your house.
Yeah.
And maybe it's and so we have this wall that we're just starting that has some local artists and stuff like that, photographer and 2 other artists, and we're going to probably add to it. But just that kind of element. And it's all consigned, so people can be like, oh, that's cool. Can I buy that? And sure, buy it right off. And the money all goes to them. And that was the funny thing. They were like, well, what's the consignment rate or whatever? I was like, I don't know. You just take it. Right
on.
It's all you, man. I just want cool art in the restaurant. Like, it's all your money.
No, it's cool. Charleston is filthy with art all over the place. But the thing is that we've noticed, Devin went to School of the Arts and everything.
Oh, cool.
So we've all been doing art.
Yeah.
Forever. And the one thing is there's not a lot of accessible platforms for artists around town.
No.
You would think there were, because like you said, Redux, and there's other aggressive styles of art that are coming out.
Yeah.
But Charleston still has a little mindset of the oyster picking and the landscape mafia that are running this town.
Yeah, no, I like the funky and the cool.
Yeah.
And check the stuff out. But we did talk about maybe creating an art show out here at the Refinery at some point.
Yep.
That's all local art, all, reasonable, funky, that kind of stuff. I mean, we were I guess Culture Class does some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And
I missed
people
this
and all
year. I
those.
was out. Yep.
Yeah.
And those kind of things. So, bringing a little bit of that, but also bringing it to a level where, a photographer could sell a $200 piece of art or $100, whatever it is, where it's like, man, this is local art and it's in your house and you can be like, yeah, I bought it at the Refinery and I know the art. I met the artist and it's signed on the back. And like, that's really cool.
Speaking of art and Refinery, have y'all cut your teeth on some events yet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the learning curve because that was, it's new to have a restaurant inside of an event.
Yeah.
And so we're just figuring that out. I think the first couple shows, it was like, wait, what is this? And then we were just talking about this. The hotter it's gotten, the more people are coming in because it's like
there you go.
When the first few shows, it was like that, May where it was like we had a beautiful May. It was really nice out. It was cool.
Yeah,
it wasn't hot. But these last couple of shows, man, we had people, oh my God, this AC feels amazing. Get in there. But what we're really trying to market and get people to, we do it all the time. If we go to North Charleston for a show at the PAC or Riverfront or whatever, our thing is to go to Park Circle because we don't live up there. We live on Isle Palms and that's our time we're going to make a drive that way anyways. Let's go to the restaurants in Park Circle.
Oh, yeah.
So, we just always have done that. Go to dinner before the show.
Yeah.
And so that's something that we're trying to introduce people to where, great, the show's going to start at 7 or 8, come in at 5, have dinner. It's right here.
That's a great idea.
Park early, you come in, you have a good meal. It's right here. Have a couple drinks, and then you walk outside, and there's the show right there. So that's a new thing. Not a new thing, but that's part of the thing we're going to lean into with the shows of really, dinner and a show. It's like it's right here.
I like that idea because it's not like you're setting yourself up. Well, we're having a show. Refinery's having, a Cool Dead cover band or Crystal Method's coming soon, which will be, and it's not like you're setting yourself up or the crew there to schlep drinks the whole time. You're actually, putting up at least some kind of barrier, not barrier, but you're like, have dinner.
Yeah. A dining experience.
Come out and enjoy the show.
Yeah.
We're not selling 20-ounce tumblers of the, specific cocktail or something, which I guess you're not.
Yeah.
But I like, unless there's some money to be made, right? So,
but it's kind of that, it's packaging it that way.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, again, people coming in, it's hot out. They're going to come in and take a break and, and we have a little bit deeper selection of cocktails because of the keg cocktails you talked to, but also the level, when you go to a show, there's usually that the vending cocked liquor, right? And great, but like if you want a Flor de Leyza, I'm a big tequila drinker, obviously with Mex 1, Flor de Leyza, G4, some of the higher end, you don't see that at concerts.
No,
and so I love going and having a nice, cocktail,
especially with the keg talk cocktail. One thing you don't want in a show is to have to wait on your drink, so having a instant mix drinks.
Well, and we've seen too people booking tables outside and they're hanging out,
right?
And they can hear the music, they're having drinks, they're not having to wait in line for cocktails are just being served to them. It's a pretty nice gig. It's a nice spot.
Yeah, and it matches up well with what you've done with Lulu's, with, the small plates, everything.
Yeah.
We won't use fine dining, but
elevated
dining.
Tavern food.
Because the demographic of the people that come to the shows at the Refinery are folks that are probably going to appreciate your food and stuff. They are, there's a lot of kids, a lot of thousandaires, that are going to enjoy that.
I mean,
they're not going to be looking for the falafel truck, probably.
Yeah, I grew up in the 90s, and I went to many shows, traveling shows. Have seen Jerry and the Grateful Dead, and gone to many widespread shows and all that. And a little bit older now, and maybe I might want to sit down every once in a while.
Yeah, me too. That's what I always do.
The feet start hurting after a while. So, it's kind of but it's also, again, our kids love coming out and doing the whole experience of dinner and a show and all that kind of stuff too. So it kind of hits everything. It's just, it goes back to this whole area of the refinery and the neck is very unique. And then you start packaging together kind of cool, small plate elevated food with a concert. And there's that kind of mix of unexpectedness that is fun. You know?
I love it. Let's talk about your VIP program real quick with the restaurant.
Yep.
So we signed up already.
Yep.
Y'all are very good at sending out emails and teasers and everything. So props to whoever's running that shop. So tell us about the VIP.
Yeah. So, it's easy. You just go online, you put in your email. It's kind of a little bit like the idea. It's simple. It's just, hey, you're on it. You're a fan of the restaurant, hey, brunch is coming this Saturday. Well, I just let it out of the bag, but we're going to send that out to the VIP people. Yeah. They're going to know. We're talking with the refinery and the music promoters and stuff to say, oh, hey, these guys are coming. Let us know. So the same day you're releasing it, we'll release it to our VIP guys.
Oh, excellent.
So, you start getting a little insider stuff like that.
Yeah.
We've talked about, because this is such a unique property, of doing some chef dinners and, other kind of events. We just had a meeting with the refinery and talked about different events that we could do that are not just concerts, because this area is amazing.
Yeah.
And, we've talked about things around Christmas time or family events and just these art shows I was telling you about. Those are the things that if you're on the VIP, you'll get that message on like, hey, this is going on this weekend before it's public knowledge. Or if you need tickets, you get them before people get tickets.
Oh, excellent. Yeah. Let us know if you need sponsorship on those.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we talked about some of your future endeavors already. We'll go ahead and give it a wrap up. So if any of our listeners, we have a lot of tourist listeners, so they're pretty good at hitting all their websites and everything. Tell me about how we can get in touch with you and your social media.
Yeah, absolutely. lulustavern.com. It's kind of a little bit of a splash page right now. We're still building content, which you need on websites, but it should be more heavily activated here in a few weeks, but easy to go on and get reservations. We always recommend, you don't need them, but obviously reservations are great. So you can get reservations there. You can see our menu and stuff like that. Social media, obviously we're on, TikTok and Facebook and Instagram.
Yep.
Lulu's Tavern actually recruited my daughter and is doing some of our social media.
Oh, fantastic.
Because, who's better at a social media than a 20-year-old?
Yeah, we might ought to hire her.
But yeah, I mean, she's got the pulse on what's funny and cool, and
cool.
I think social media right now is about entertainment, almost like restaurants. It's fun to watch and see different things.
That
and
is
the
true.
Creativeness of the younger kids that are doing it, I think, works. So social media we're on, and then our website too. You can find out all kinds of stuff going on there.
All right, excellent. So we'll encourage everybody to come by. We do a damn near an essay for every interview that we'll have for people that still read stuff on our website. So that'll direct everybody to everything. So anyway, we enjoyed it, and we hope to have you. Well, actually, we ought to make this a recurring thing, since we both technically we both live at our shows and our businesses are at the refinery, basically, since they're a sponsor.
Anytime. And I'd love to have our chefs on here.
Yeah. Oh, please.
Have them talk about the food and stuff like that.
Yeah, I would really like to go down that road.
I'm, you got everything out of me. Now you got to talk to the real people that are doing the work.
Okay, right. There you go. So you've gilded that path for us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be great.
All right. So on behalf of DJ, and everybody else, Dave, thanks for coming by. I'm glad we finally got this hashed out.
Absolutely.
And I suppose we can let you go back across the parking lot to your shop.
Yeah.
Otherwise, everybody, y'all be good and come and see us, and come and see Lulu's Tavern on the tracks. Otherwise, we'll see you next week, and God bless.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.